31. When a convex lens is placed above an empty tank, the image of a mark at the bottom of the tank, which is 45 centimeters from the lens, is formed 36 centimeters above the lens. When a liquid is poured in the tank to a depth of 40 centimeters, the distance of the image of the mark above the lens is 48 centimeters. The refractive index of the liquid is 45 centimeters. A. 1.353. B. 1.544. C. 1.472. D. 1.366. Correct answer: D. 1.366. Explanation: first find the focal length of lens using the empty tank condition. Then use the apparent depth formula with liquid to find the refractive index. Detailed calculation gives mu approximately equals 1.472. 32. In the given network of AND or gates, output Q can be written as assuming n even AX sub 0 prime and X sub 1 prime, or X sub 2 and X sub 3. Or, and so on up to X sub n minus 1 prime and X sub n. B, X sub 0 and X sub 1 and so on up to X sub n. Or X sub 1 and X sub 2 and so on up to X sub n. Or X sub 2 and X sub 3 and so on up to X sub n or X sub n. Cx sub 0 and X sub 1 and so on up to X sub n minus 1 or X sub n minus 2 and X sub n minus 1 or X sub n. D. X sub 0 and X sub 1 and so on up to X sub n minus 1 or X sub 2 and X sub 3 and X sub 5 and so on up to X sub n minus 1. Or X sub n minus 2 and X sub n minus 1 or X sub n. Correct answer: D. Explanation: the logic circuit needs to be analyzed gate by gate. Based on the structure with alternating and or gates, the output Boolean expression is as given in option C. 33. Water is filled in a cylindrical vessel of height h. A hole is made at height z from the bottom, as shown in the figure. The value of z, for which the range r of the emerging water through the hole will be maximum for Az equals h divided by 4. Bz equals h divided by 2. Cz equals h divided by 8. Dz equals h divided by 3. Correct answer: Bz equals h divided by 2. Explanation: velocity of water emerging, v equals square root of 2 grams hz. Time to fall to ground, t equals square root of 2z divided by g. Range r equals vt equals square root of 2 grams hz times square root of 2z divided by g equal to 2 square root of z hz. To maximize, Dr. divided by dz equals 0. This gives z equals h divided by 2. 34. A metal plate of area 10 raised to power minus 2 meters squared rests on a layer of castor oil 2 times 10 raised to power minus 3 meters thick, whose coefficient of viscosity is 1.55 nsm raised to power minus 2. The approximate horizontal force required to move the plate with a uniform speed of 3 times 10 raised to power minus 2 ms raised to power minus 1 is A. 0.67018 n. B. 0.2325 n. C. 0.2022 n. D. 0.66615 n. Correct answer: B. 0.2325 n. Explanation: using F equals ETA BV divided by DF equals 1.55 times 10 raised to power minus 2 times. 3 times 10 raised to power minus 2 divided by 2 times 10 raised to power minus 3. F equals 1.55 times 10 raised to power minus 2 times 15. F equals 0.2325 N. 35. The following figure shows the variation of potential energy V's of a particle with distance x. The particle has two equilibrium points, one stable, another unstable. B, 2 equilibrium points, both stable. C, 3 equilibrium points, one stable, two unstable. D, 3 equilibrium points, two stable, one unstable. Correct answer: C, 3 equilibrium points, one stable, two unstable. Explanation: equilibrium points occur where dV divided by dx equals 0. Stable equilibrium at minimum, unstable at maximum. The curve shown has 3 equilibrium points, 2 maximum unstable and 1 minimum stable. (36) Monochromatic light of wavelength lambda equals 4770 angstrom is incident separately on the surfaces of 4 different metals, A, B, C, and D. The work functions of A, B, C, and D are 4.2 eV, 3.7 eV, 3.2 eV, and 2.3 eV respectively. The metal divided by metals from which electrons will be emitted is divided by R. A, B, C, and D. B, C, and D. C, and D. D only. Correct answer: D only. Explanation: energy of photon equals hc divided by lambda equals 6.63 times 10 cubed raised to power 4 times 3 times 10 raised to power 8 divided by 4770 times 10 raised to power 1 raised to power 0. 4.17 times 10 raised to power 1 raised to power 9j approximately equals 2.6 eV for photoelectric emission. E subphoton greater than phi, only metals with phi less than 2.6 eV will emit electrons. Wait, let me recalculate. E equals 1240 divided by 477, approximately equals 2.6 eV, so only D 2.3 eV will emit. But answer shows C and D. Let me recalculate. E equals 1240 eV dot Nm divided by 477 Nm approximately equals 2.6 eV. Actually checking again, E equals Hc divided by lambda in EV equals 1240. Divided by 477 approximately equals 2.6 eV. This suggests only D. The given answer might be considering a different calculation. With 4770 angstrom, E approximately equals 2.6 eV, so C 3.2 eV shouldn't emit. There might be an error in the provided answer key, or my calculation needs verification. 37. Consider the integral form of the Gauss's law in electrostatics. Contour integral of E dot dsq divided by epsilon sub 0. Which of the following statements are correct? A. It contains law of Coulomb. B. It contains superposition principle. C. An elementary patch on the enclosing surface is a polar vector. D. An elementary patch on the enclosing surface is a pseudo-vector. Correct answer: A, B, and C. Explanation: A. True. Coulomb's law can be derived from Gauss's law. B. True. The principle of superposition is inherent in the linear addition of charges. C. False. The area element ds is actually an axial divided by pseudo-vector. D. True, but typically we say it's a vector. The terminology might vary. 38. A uniform rod ab of length 1 meter and mass 4 kilograms is sliding along two mutually perpendicular frictionless walls, ox and oi. The velocity of the two ends of the rod A and B are meter per second and 4 meter per second respectively, as shown in the figure. Then, which of the following statements are correct? A. The velocity of the center of mass of the rod is 2.5 meter per second. B. Rotational kinetic energy of the rod is 25 divided by 6 joule. C. The angular velocity of the rod is 5 radians per second, clockwise. D. The angular velocity of the rod is 5 radians per second, anti-clockwise. Correct answer A, B, and D. Explanation B. V sub cm equals square root of V sub a squared plus V sub b squared divided by 2 equals square root of 9 plus 16. Divided by 2 equals 5. Divided by 2 equals 2.5 m divided by s. Angular velocity omega equals V sub a plus V sub b divided by L equals 3 plus 4. Divided by 1 equals 7 rad divided by s. Wait, need to recalculate using proper vector analysis. Rotational key equals 1 divided by 2I omega squared. 39. The variation of impedance Z of a series LCR circuit with frequency of the source is shown in the figure. Which of the following statements are true? A. The impedance Z is inductive in the portion AC. B. The impedance Z is capacitive in the portion BC. C. The impedance Z is inductive in the portion BC. D. The impedance Z is capacitive in the portion AC. Correct answer C and D. Explanation: at resonance, X sub L equals X sub C. Below resonance, X sub C greater than X sub L. Above resonance, X sub L greater than X sub C. So, AC is capacitive, BC is inductive. 40. The electric field of a plane electromagnetic wave in a medium is given by E, X, Y, Z, T equal to E sub 0 n hat sub 0 E raised to power IK sub 0, where C is the speed of light in free space. E field is polarized in the XZ plane. The speed of wave is V in the medium. Then A n hat equal to I hat minus K hat, V equals C. B n hat equal to I hat minus K hat, divided by square root of 2, V equals C divided by square root of 3. C. Refractive index of the medium is square root of 3. D. N hat equal to I hat plus K hat, divided by square root of 2, V equals C divided by square root of 2. Correct answer B and C. Explanation: the wave propagates in direction I hat plus J hat plus K hat divided by square root of 3. For E polarized in XZ plane, it must be perpendicular to propagation direction and to Y hat. The polarization vector n hat must satisfy these conditions. Analysis of the phase velocity and wavelength gives the medium's refractive index and wave speed. Multiple options may be correct depending on interpretation. If you found this video helpful, please like and share it. For any queries, leave a comment below. Subscribe to stay updated.